It's okay to cry. Mama will stay by your side. Let me sing you a song.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It comes to you live from our comfy couch on the outskirts, and it's the Gaming Saloon Reviews for January 18th, 2026, with your host, Beesware2448, and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hi.
It's the good half of our wheel adaptation break.
Time flew by.
Yay.
I know it's hard
I know that's not a great one for you from what we've talked about so far.
It could be better.
I'll be honest, I think Persona is just a hard thing to adapt because there's a lot going on in a Persona game, and adapting it means you gotta like cut through the chaff to get to the main story stuff. But if you just do the main story stuff, it's like, well, we're just hitting plot points and calling it a day. as these 4 episodes are very clear examples of.
Yeah, it's too cut and dry for me, honestly, in this.
I think the show does improve because we do start getting the break stuff, like some of the other social links and some of the other just fun episodes. Like, we have a 2-parter episode that is basically, here is Nanako trying to figure out what's going on with you for an entire episode, as he's basically hopscotching between side jobs and social links. We just come across him doing random things, and then the next episode shows us everything that he did. But that is also deep in the show. The bad part is, I'm almost willing to say this is the best adaptation Persona has gotten. Which is probably not high marks.
No, not really.
Because I think the only challenger for that crown really is like the Persona 3 movies, which is, I think it's 4 movies, if I recall correctly. And if you feel like we're hopping plot points in this, boy, howdy, does Persona 3 the movies do that in spades.
Oh boy.
Because it's 4 movies adapting the length of a series, the length of one of these games. This show is, let me double check. I think it's 26. 25 episodes long, with an additional, I think, extra length episode to cover the true ending. So it's technically like 20, probably 27 in terms of length. That is more time than those movies have.
And that is
also,
still approximately a tenth of the time that one of these games usually takes.
Yeah, they're I ballpark Persona on average to be around 80 hours because of how just wordy they are at the end of the day. Because there's a lot of talking and a lot of like just dialogue stuff you go through. So yeah. But yeah, as you can see, we're doing Persona 4 the animation, which debuted October 7th, 2011. It's pretty clear our experiences with Persona. I adore Persona. Persona 4 was my intro to the franchise, so this show makes me happy because it does the Persona 4 things, and I clap for them.
Whereas I'm
So
just kind of indifferent on them.
Exactly. So you get the honest opinion about the series, and then the incredibly biased opinion about the series.
I feel like, as a representation of the show, it's not bad. Kind of deal. For what it's having to adapt, it's not bad. The fact that it's a show is where the problems come in.
Yeah, there's a reason I just copied the Wikipedia summaries for these episodes, because it's like, what am I going to write down that is just, well, this is everything that happens in the course of like the first few hours of the game, and I know those first few hours. There's some additional details in there, but this is basically following those exact plot points that I know.
What's
verbatim.
bad? What's bad is people with Ryder complain about the 2-episode arc mentality. Yeah, how about you don't have a 2-episode arc, you have a 1 episode?
How here's a single episode arc where we just slam through a character's arc entirely.
That's where the problem I have with it is. I honestly feel like this would have benefited from literally being double the length it is.
Yeah. Double the length. Mixing in the party social link stuff in between, like the dungeons and stuff, because I don't think the party member social links get that focused on in this show, which kind of sucks. Because bear in mind, it's not just other extended cast members that have social links. No, all of the party members have their own full length social links where they have basically their entire character arc on top of the stuff they go through to join the party. So
you know you're not making it any better than right.
I'm not. No, I'm aware.
Okay.
I'm not helping. Look, I'm not going to help this show's case. I know this show is. I am pilled to like this show, but I'm the only one, or the only kind of person who can like this show. Really, is someone who likes the game and can watch the show and go, "Oh yeah, no, this is that, and that is this," and I can fill in the blanks because I'm broken. If you were coming into this show blind, bad news.
And that's the problem. I feel like this show was meant for people that were coming in blind.
Yeah.
To try to get them hooked to want to play the game.
Yep.
Instead, this gives the false pretense of, oh, the game's gonna go, you do this, this, and this, and you're done.
Yeah, because these 2 hours of runtime basically summarize, probably 12 hours. Or no, probably not 12 hours. Probably more like 8 hours of...
I was going to ballpark around 10, so...
Yeah. It is 8 to 10 hours of content. Because they do truncate and change a few things. But yeah, though, this is the first 8 to 10 hours of the game. Give or take how long it takes for you to get through Yukiko's dungeon, because they kind of gloss over you going through Yukiko's dungeon in this series. They don't show any of the mid-boss stuff. They don't show you them climbing it. They just kind of zoom through it and just go straight to Yukiko. Also, no one fights with weapons in this show, even though they fight with weapons in the game. I don't know why they did that.
They did that so that they could have the one bit about sending our idiot to jail.
That happens in the game.
Oh, I'm sure it does. But I feel like that's the whole reason why they abandoned the weapons, though, too. Was they felt like that would just completely contradict that if they let it happen.
That makes me sad because we don't get Kanji wielding a steel chair as his weapon in this series. Because that's his weapon. Because for reference, you gets a sword, Yosuke has the kunai knives or just whatever two-handed small weapon he gets. Chie just kicks people.
Well, then see, she still
Yukiko-
gets weapons. Her feet.
Right. Unfortunately, I don't think they ever do her galactic punt, which is her follow-up attack, which is basically her just drop kicking an enemy out of the battle and just goes, nope, you're not in this battle anymore. Bye. They just go Team Rocket blasting off. Yukiko gets a fan. Like I said, Kanji gets a steel chair. Teddy gets a claw. And then Naoto gets a gun.
Never mind, I now see why they don't have weapons.
Yeah, because it's just like, all right, Naoto's weapon is gun. Like, it's just her personal gun. Because I'm pretty sure she has a service weapon, since she is technically with the police. Just to put it out there, even though we don't run into Naoto in this show. But she is in the opening. Because all the party members are in the opening. Rise doesn't get a weapon, but she's the navigator, so she doesn't need a weapon. She just tells where people go. But yeah, I guess any other thoughts?
No.
All right, then we will kick off with episode 1. You're myself, I'm yourself. We get introduced to the Velvet Room, which is just this limousine with Igor and Margaret hanging out in it. They drive around in a fog all the entire course of the game. They basically just do the introduction to the Velvet Room, tell you what the Velvet Room is, and then Igor says bye as Yu wakes up on the train to Inaba. Although, now that I've thought about this, now you see why I make all the Persona comparisons with Zets.
Yeah.
Because you now see how the Velvet Room operates, and it's almost exactly like how Code Headquarters is. And then all of the shadow stuff is basically what's going on with the dreams and nightmares and Zets. I feel like somebody on that team has played Persona. It's a little too on the nose. Anywho, Yu is heading to Inaba because his parents got a new job, so he has to stay with his uncle Dojima and his daughter Nanako for the next year. That's how long the game takes. In context, you play the game for an entire year. The next day after, they skip over this. I have to note this because otherwise someone will yell at me for plot reasons. They stop at a gas station on the way back home. Yu runs into a gas station attendant and shakes his hand, and then he gets a headache. Spoilers, that's plot relevant. And the game expects you to remember that 80 hours into this fucking video game.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it is literally plot relevant to get the true ending for you to remember this interaction and to ask the question, wait a minute. If that's how they got their powers, how the fuck did I get my powers? Points to gas station service attendant. Anywho, the following day, one of the students of Yasogami High School, which is the high school Yu's attending, finds a corpse of a television announcer named Mayumi Yamano hanging from one of the power lines outside. That leads to a whole thing, but we mainly follow Yu as he meets Yosuke and Chie at Jeunesse. Yosuke has a thing for one of the employees there named Saki. We also get introduced to Yukio a little bit in this as well, but it's mainly just interactions with them. And then they bring up the Midnight Channel, which is the thing you watch at midnight on a rainy day, and it's supposed to show you your true love. At least that's what the rumor is. But back at home, we see an interview or see in the local news interview. What they're trying not to show to be Saki, but bear in mind, Inaba is a small town, basically. So anybody who could tell it's her, basically. Yu tries to watch the Midnight Channel, but nothing happens. But then he touches the TV and it tries to suck him in, and he pulls it out, and he's like, "Wow, that was weird." Just as a note, all of Yu's character for anything past the game is entirely based off this anime, as he's just this oblivious, just center of charisma, apparently. I love everything that happens with you in this anime. I just love that they make him just this big goof that just no-sells anything and everything that happens to him. The next day, Yosuke and Chie say that they should try one of the bigger TVs at Junes to see if they can stick you inside, and it actually works. And then Yosuke flips out, and the three of them dunk themselves into the TV, and now we're in what is called the TV world for like the entirety of the video game. It is a fog-laden alternate universe where shadows roam, and the three of them run into Teddy, who gives you a pair of glasses, and it's just like, y'all need to get the fuck out of here before the shadows show up and fucking murder you all. And then the shadows show up and try to murder all of them. But then Yu awakens his persona, Izanagi, and then kills all the shadows. And then that's episode 1. It sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot.
Not a lot at all.
Yeah. Episode 2, The Contractor's Key. In a theme for the rest of these episodes, we get a Velvet Room segment to start the episode where basically Igor and Margaret go, "Hey, you got this social link with this Arcana. Good job." And this one, he's just like, "Here's a key to the Velvet Room. Use it when you want to come back here." I'm pretty sure Yu never uses that key in the show. I'm pretty sure, at least. But that's how you get to the Velvet Room in game, is with the key. Because there's just doors that pop up around town and in front of dungeons and stuff, and that lets you go in the Velvet Room to handle your persona stuff. Also, they call you a wild card, which basically means you get to have multiple personas. Good for you. After the events of the last episode, Teddy gets the trio out, and then the next day, some random kid tries to ask Yukiko out on a date, and Yukiko just no-sells him because she's too busy. Yosuke tries to invite Saki to a movie, but the next day, he doesn't get any callbacks from her. And as they find out the next day, she's dead. And as they saw the night before, she was on the Midnight Channel. So they figure if someone's on the Midnight Channel, they are in the other world and dying, basically. So Yu and Yosuke head in, try to investigate. Chie is left behind holding a rope to pull them out, which snaps almost immediately as they head in. Teddy leads the two of them to a false version of the local shopping district, where they basically find out that Saki was under a lot of pressure from her family for working at Junes, since Junes is basically Walmart. Just put it out there. It is very much Walmart. As Yosuke's hearing this, he then hears himself badmouth him for basically all the stuff he's hiding about himself. How he's just doing this because he wants to be a hero and he's bored. He tells the shadow he's not him, and oh no, that's the trigger word. So the shadow becomes a monster, and then Yu has to fight him for the whole episode until he beats it. And then Yosuke accepts his shadow, accepts the bad parts of himself, gets his persona, and hooray! That's episode 2. How are you feeling halfway through?
Meh. Mainly because I know the back half of this follows this exact same pattern.
Yep.
It probably would have been fine if this was the last that we literally hit conflict, resolve conflict kind of deal in the same episode.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been better if the next two flowed better as a two-parter, because I feel like they probably should have been, but they don't flow that way.
Yeah, we kind of just throw Chie in there so that she can get her persona, and then we immediately run to Yukiko to do her stuff with nothing really in between.
Which, that part of it I would have been fine with if we had padded the first part out a little bit and got to actually see more of their relationship in the beginning, and did like a cliffhanger where she's being confronted with her alter self kind of deal.
Yeah.
That, I think, would have flowed better. Not so much having to do major changes to episode 4, but maybe just moving pieces around. I kind of feel like that would have went better there, and it would have separated it from these first two.
Weirdly, the show gives us a little bit more about their relationship than we do in game. Like the whole dog thing that we'll get to, I think that's in a social link conversation with one of the two of them, but we never see the dog because it's a PS2 game. So dog is hard. Also, they just don't show us where any of these people live besides you. And 2, we also just don't get the scene that we see with the two of them meeting for the first time. So the show gives us a little bit more than the game ever did, which I guess credit to the show.
Yeah.
You gotta get Mark somehow.
It would have been nice if we, maybe went a little harder in on that, but...
Yeah. But shall we hit the back half then?
Yep.
All right, episode 3. We are friends, aren't we? Velvet Room recap as per normal, with Margaret basically going, get more bonds. It gives you more power, because that's literally the point of all 3 of the modern Persona games. If you think the power of friendship is a dumb concept, I've got bad news for you. That is basically the theme of every Persona game. At least of 3, 4, and 5. Literally, you can do anything with the power of friendship. But yeah, we now got the Magician Arcana because that's Yosuke's. Just to say it, Chie's is Chariot and Yukiko is Priestess? Don't remember Yukiko's offhand. Anyway, we start off with Chie being concerned because Yukiko was on the Midnight Channel. But then she's tried to call Yukiko, no answer. But then Yukiko calls her, is like, hey, it's fine. I was like, what? I was busy. She's like, oh, thank God. They talk to Teddy real quick. He says that nobody's in there. So they're trying to figure out what the deal with the Midnight Channel is. Basically, that Persona 4 is a detective story. So there's just a whole mystery about the Midnight Channel and who's throwing people into the TV. And that's basically the core driving point of the entire game. Unfortunately, if you are even remotely connected to the Persona stuff, you basically know the twist at this point of who the killer is. unfortunately. But the next night, when you watches, we then get Shadow Yukiko showing up dressed as a princess, searching for her Prince Charming and being very lewd about it because, look, the shadows are going to be extra. Just gonna tell you now, if you watch past these 4 episodes, all the shadows are gonna be extra about this. They are putting the flaws of the character of the person they're connected to on blast. Hard. But you and Yosuke talk about this. Chie runs off to the inn to try to find out where Yukiko is, and then finds out Yukiko's been missing for like half the day. So the next day they decide to meet up, but then Yosuke's like, I brought weapons, and Yu's like, you are a fucking dumbass. And then the 2 of them get arrested. And Adachi, who is Dojima's partner, has to bail them out, and then decides to be a dick and is like, oh no, well, we think Yukiko kind of just went off on her own because she might be connected to the murder and stuff. And that's when Chie shows up, and as soon as she hears this, she's about to fucking murder him. Like, no stop. If they did not stop Chie, she would have probably kicked him into the fucking wall. Probably would have been for the best, but that's neither here nor there. They decide to head in. Chie tags along, even though she doesn't have a persona. She ends up running ahead and runs into her shadow self, who basically just goes, you only help out Yukiko because you're jealous of her and stuff and all that, which leads to them fighting her shadow. They beat it. She accepts herself. She gets her persona, and then they go off to try to find Yukiko. And that's episode 3. Which takes us to 4, Somewhere Not Here. Velvet Room recap again. This time, hey, you got Chariot one. They're back rummaging through the castle to try to find Yukiko. We get a little bit of Yukiko's backstory, which I think is actually exclusive to the game, or to this, because I don't think any of this, her finding a bird and nursing it back to health, is in the game at all. At least I don't remember it. But eventually we see that Yukiko's shadow just doesn't want anything to do with the inn because she's tired of working there, tired of this idea that she's going to take it over, and that's her only option, that she doesn't have other options, essentially. And so a big just brawl of sorts. Eventually, Chie kind of breaks through, helps Yukiko break out of this. They beat up the shadow. Yukiko accepts the shadow. Shenanigans with the comedy glasses kind of in the episode. I guess any thoughts on the back end?
No, because I mean, same thing that I've said. It's like the pacing is the problem I have more with it.
I kind of appreciate that they kind of cranked up the Yukiko and Chie relationship of just like, look, we're not saying that they're more than friends, probably. But the fact that Chie's single thought these entire 2 episodes is, oh my god, Yukiko's in danger, she might die. No, I will not let this happen. I'm like, guys, I see the writing. I see what you're trying to imply, but you don't want to say it. But yeah, I liked watching these episodes, but again, this is a heavily biased person here, so I don't think I can give an honest opinion on this show.
It's one of those I would probably give it a shot, but and I know it probably will, if it continues doing this, it would lose me very quickly. Because it basically feels like, okay, watch any one episode at the beginning and you already know where the end is.
Yeah. I have to see. That's 5, 6.
It seems weird because looking at writer, yes, I'm one of them to also think that sometimes we over abuse the 2-episode arc system, but then there's points where it's needed. And this is one of those points where I'm like, it actually would be needed to help break up the pace.
Yeah, 5 seems to be the break episode, but then kanji stuff is over the course of 6 and 7. So that is something. Rise gets 2 episodes to her, so it may just be these first 4. But also, like, the format of how they get their personas is basically the same every time. just put it out there. How they acquire their personas, that's going to be the exact same, regardless of if it's a single episode or 2.
That's perfectly fine on that. Because the build-up in the writing to that same point, it's like, okay, that makes sense. Because none of the 4 got their persona in the exact same way. They had different things they had to accept to get to that point. And that makes sense. It's one of those... It's like, yeah, that would be fine if the same method is given. The problem is the pacing.
Yeah, the show might be paced better after these 4, but again, biased opinion here. I don't think I can give an honest answer. I can just kind of just go, maybe the show's better after this. Maybe. I don't know. Hopefully.
The pacing made it to where it didn't do an initial hook, and that can be a good or a bad thing. We've had a few writer shows that if I didn't get into the initial hook of it, then it just kind of lost me no matter how the show turned out, kind of deal.
Yeah. I think Gav is the most recent example of that for you.
Saber was the one before it.
Yep. Granted, that show did not end up much better.
No, not at all.
I can't even say, Gav ended up better. Not really. As someone who pushed through to final form to have an opinion about that show for my tier list, it still did not hit for me. So everyone like, Gav is really good. I go, I guess I get to be the oddball that says no.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, Kabuto's, I think, the biggest example of that.
And you went farther than the rest of us on Kabuto.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Persona 4, the anime?
No.
All right, then. In 2 weeks, we're doing the new thing. We're doing something off the list. I have narrowed it down to 5 choices. I don't know if you got a wheel to pick them or decided on a method or one in particular.
Nope, I never did make the wheel. I forgot I was going to do that.
Good news, I have the wheel. I can't show it on stream, but I basically have the same wheel that I used to narrow it down. It's just that the 5 were ticked off, but it decided to say, oh, they picked this. I'm like, all right, ticking it off.
Link?
I don't think it will work because it's the website that has it as cookies. So let me see. Can I
screen share?
Wait, no.
I can make it work.
Okay, let me see. Does that work? Or...
Is there a way if we need to. I don't want. Yeah, I don't want. There's not a way to pop it out. Are you serious? Wait a minute.
I could technically send this to the side stream if that helps.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay, so 1 second.
Because I can add that source here then. I remember. Great. Okay.
If you're wondering, folks, ignore the current song stuff because I'm literally just using my show stuff scene in OBS. So, yes, I do keep the stream playlist going whenever we're doing the podcast.
It's not visible at the moment. Because I'm fixing it down to just see the wheel.
All right. So, just to go over the choices while Tom is narrowing down the wheel and stuff. Right now, there's about 10 things on the list that I kind of want to do for TGSR. Currently, I haven't added anything else. I say I want to kind of add the other show writers that have been officially released, but also the 2 times we've done show writer, we've been kind of meh on them. So,
also, there we go.
I don't know if I want to add V3, X, Amazon, and eventually Stronger on that list. Because right now, for reference, the full list is Kamen Rider Black RX, Transformers Animated, the Toei Spider-Man series, G Gundam, the first season of Garo, Shinkenger, Kyoryuger, Symphogear, Ultraman Geed, and Gavon. And I put these into a wheel, I spun them, and whatever the wheel picked got eliminated. So we are now down to the 5 options of G Gundam, Transformers Animated, Gavon, Ultraman Geed, and Kyoryuger.
Do we want to spin and eliminate until we get down to 3 and then pick from there?
I mean, we can, but that is a very easy thing for me to do with this wheel.
I say let's do it that way.
Okay, spinning 1.
Well,
we are eliminating the only not tokusatsu thing on here already, so no Transformers Animated.
That's funny.
All right, no, actually, no, G Gundam is also not tokusatsu, but that's one of the 2 not tokusatsu things on here. So, spin 2. There goes the relevant thing for us to have watched since Gavon Infinity comes out next month. So no Gavon for us. So we are now down to Juden Sentai Kyoryuger, Ultraman Geed, and then G Gundam.
I say whatever spins this time is what we're doing.
All right. Spin the final.
Okay, that was really close.
I was staring it down of like, you are not going to give me G Gundam, are you? Because you were just barely going to not do it.
I was like, is it? Is it? No.
I don't know if you can see my cursor. It is the size of my cursor.
Wow. Okay.
So we're gonna do Juden Sentai Kyoryuger next for TGSR. I think we're just gonna do the show, to be honest, because Sentai solo films are not that much to write home about, even though the Kyoryuger movie is kind of interesting. Fuck, no, we do have to watch the Kyoryuger movie. No, shit, right. Damn it, I forgot. We do have to watch the Kyoryuger movie because it's plot relevant for the show. Good, I don't have to figure that out. Because a reminder, Sentai movies are, you remember how long the Saber movie was?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about that length.
Yeah.
So, we are probably mixing that into the episode count.
What was the Rider movie that came out with it?
Good question. I am very much willing to bet it's one we've watched.
That's what I'm kind of thinking too, but I'm not sure. Yep, Super Tyson said. Got Reach of Music. Oh god, it might have been the Wizard movie. Oh yeah, it was Wizard of Magic Land. Never mind.
I was like, as soon as I saw Super Tyson said, I was like, oh fuck, it was the Wizard movie, wasn't it? Checks wiki. Yep. Nope.
As soon as you said that, I was like, crap, we've already done it then.
We could. It has nothing to do with that fucking movie, but we could technically do the G-Gabon movie to give it something else, because that aired around the same time.
At that point, I almost think we might be better off just to tie it in with the show count.
Yeah,
I just figured the Rider one, if we hadn't done it, because that was how they normally were built anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
So at least it would be directly related kind of deal.
I think old format TGSR we did.
I think
Magic Land. I know we did Wizard the series.
That might be one of those go back and double check, and if we haven't, then there we go. But if we have, then it just needs to be tied in with episode count then, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So it's, for reference, it's 48 episodes. We're not going to do Super Tyson Z because we technically already did Super Tyson Z.
Yep.
And also, it basically has nothing to do with Kyoryuger, so it doesn't matter. Much like all the Super Tyson films. We'll mix in Gabaricho Music, which is the solo film, at some point. We won't do Kyoryuger Go Busters, even though we technically have done Go Busters on TGSR.
I mean, we could do it.
True. That's more of a proper length movie.
How long is the runtime for it?
Wiki decided to give it to me. No. Of course not. Will regular Wikipedia give me the runtime? Oh, it's 63 minutes. So it's like an hour.
So we could do both of them together then.
Okay. Yeah, we might just do the two movies together.
Because that would be close to what we would be doing normally.
We'll probably skip everything past there, though. Because there's a 100 Years After special. That's skippable. There's the Kyoryuger Tokyuger movie, which would be post-canon, but also that's skippable. Oh, look, Show Super Tyson is here. Hey, do you remember when... Wait, no. Oh, fuck, right. We've never watched that one. I don't desire to watch it, so skip.
I think we both
Yeah.
decided not to care about that one, so
It was also the last one.
yeah, we definitely both decided not to care about that one anymore.
We will skip over the King Oger stuff since we are not watching King Oger. Everything else is special on stage, so yeah, we'll do 48, and then I think around where Gabricho music happens, we'll do it in Kyoto Go Busters. I forget where Kyoto Go Busters is supposed to take place, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. It's a versus movie. It's nebulously somewhere within the context of the series for this one. So yeah, that's what we'll do next for the next few weeks, and I don't know, we might do this again once we're done with Kyoryuger. I'm actually curious what the 50-50 would be.
Yep.
Yeah, just the refusal, just like, no, you are not watching G Gundam. You don't get another Gundam show. Like, fair. But also, yeah.
I almost think we just do this from the 9 down the next time.
Okay. That'd work since the cookie wise, everything's saved, I guess. I just get to add stuff to the list. So yeah, that's what we'll do next for TGSR in 2 weeks. But between now and then, Thursday, we're continuing the X8 Chemi as I will have to redo some work because I realized what I need to do by the end of last stream. So it's like, well, I'm gonna have to roll things back and then do a thing and then slowly roll forward and see how much SolidWorks yells at me. Friday, we'll be back to Cubiverse with Tales of Symphonia. And then Saturday, we are back to power washing. And then next Sunday will be us talking about game stuff. I couldn't think of anything in specific.
Don't worry, I'm sure there'll be something.
I would say something with Rockstar, but I don't think there's anything that's happened majorly with that one just yet. But yeah, but between now and then, folks, if you like what you see, and drop a follow, really appreciate it. Exclamation point YouTube and chat gets the YouTube archive for this and all our other streams. Exclamation point social and chat gets the handles for all our social media, so we know we're done live. Exclamation point Discord and chat is like drop by, say hi. We'll see you Thursday, folks.